Hello and welcome to my cozy home. This is my sanctuary, a place I've created to be so cozy that I don't ever want to leave. But today I'm unhurried by time, so I'll do some Melbourne thrifting in Brunswick. Thrifted treasures are part of my intentional lifestyle. Like these thrifted Verna Panton chairs, they're placed here to catch soft light and make shadows to enhance the cascading circles of light from the train line. The shapes of circles of soft light, the design language, it's intentional. Light dancing on vintage shapes. These moments of stillness for me, every item has a story. So join me today as I go solo into Brunswick for some Melbourne thrift shopping. Today I take a slow walk away from Sydney Road where all the op shops are. I take the Upfield shared path on my way to the thrift. And on the way I slow down and enjoy the beautiful homes, the colourful graffiti and dancing light. On the way I see Moreland Station. There is a poetry in the pieces like this Moreland Station mini library. How delightful, a miniature library handmade from wood where the community can leave old books to find new life, a new story. This miniature right here is with the old Moreland Station heritage. I thought I'd say a little bit of a hello just before we get to Sydney Road itself because those trams are quite loud when they pass, but I'm going to check out some thrift stores and really excited to. As always, Sydney Road is always a treat and you never know what you're going to find. Walking Sydney Road, you can feel the energy, the culture. For context, these three thrift shops are back to back. Don Bosco, and opposite is the Salvos and the brand new Epilepsy Foundation op shop. Let's start here. Inside it's so warm and cozy. I enter with a smile on my face and immediately I'm greeted by Camille.
Hello.
The resident pooch who is so golden with the most soft fur and delightful expressions. Customers are playing fetch. Sometimes I wish I could live a dog's life. So next I head to the CDs. There are so many to choose from and they're only priced at $2. I haven't had good luck with CDs in the last week, but today I find a lot of nostalgic music, the music of my younger years. What a lucky day. Delightful. Next I go to the back where they have homeware. I browse looking for the right vintage items, but today I think the CDs are more than enough to be grateful for. And that's the thing, you never know what you're gonna get at the thrift. Pretty stoked with my little haul here of CDs. I feel like a lot of people in the area listen to similar artists that I would, so you kind of have to just expect sometimes to find just one or two things, sometimes nothing. Happy with the Epilepsy op shop. It's good. The next op shop is the Salvos. In the past I found my brat green tray here. Today I see a vintage world globe and a 1960s blending machine. Also a vintage Kodak carousel and a vintage typewriter. What stories were written on this typewriter? Every item has a story. I wonder who owned all of these. What family had this old wooden kids' games? What foods were served on this platter? What picnics were had with this basket? I check out the music, but I find no CDs. And that's life. That's art. Of course, the vintage lenses are always a joy to look at. I like the way vintage glass catches light. It's as if the glass is textured by time. Images and memories. Only time can make memories. Vintage glass makes me reflect on why I like op shopping. The things of our past were made with quality. Sitting in cardboard boxes, you never know what you'll find, and today I didn't collect any treasures from salvos. Instead, I crossed the road to the Don Bosco op shop. Now, Don Bosco is a smaller store, but you can always count on finding some joys when secondhand shopping here. It's small and cozy. I'll pan to show the size. Again, I look for nostalgic music, but can I get that lucky today? Maybe. Maybe not. Over to the homeware shelf, I find some small plastic crates in a beautiful yellow. Why were vintage colours so vibrant? This colour reminds me of the VW Combi in the neighbourhood that I love. I showed you that the other day. I wonder why the modern goods of today, they're blander, same as modern cars. Anyway, I have a talk with the worker and he tells me he was recently in a student film about thrift shopping.
As well, some are cheap and some stores in certain areas are more expensive than others.
There's a lot of thrift shops.
That's you.
That's doing a piece on op shops in general.
Yeah.
And she came and sat here and interviewed me, and her partner had the camera set up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Brunswick is not only a place for aesthetic or shopping. I find myself collecting warm conversations, joyous glances. I find myself absorbed in a feeling, and it's become a ritual to now op shop here. Walking back, I take the wondrous soft light in as the wind picks up. Melbourne is known to have 4 seasons in a day. I feel grateful to thrift and secondhand shop. I feel like this intentional lifestyle is rooted in ritual, softened by memory. I've collected for over 15 years now, embracing many stories of the secondhand, creating my home slowly. The winds may blow the falling leaves, the seasons they come and go, but there is a poetry in objects, because we once owned them. I wonder who will own mine. Now, thank you so much for watching, and I've been very glad to tour you around Brunswick and the thrift stores. I hope to see you soon.